Hi guys, welcome back to my channel English in a Blink. And today let's start by talking about weather. Why? You know, just like that. I felt like talking about weather. I don't know about how the weather is in your country at the moment, but here it's actually getting very cold and I am not used to this weather. What happened? Did I say anything wrong? Used to? Is it not right? So then how do you say it? Used to? Yeah, you're right. Well, did you guess what I'm going to be looking at today? That's right. ED pronunciations. I don't know about you guys, but my students always tend to break them into two syllables when they have to say used, they say used. When they have to say dropped, they say dropped. Okay, so that's the reason I decided that I will be looking at ED pronunciations today. So I'll be giving you rules and when not to break them into two syllables and when to break them into two syllables. Okay, so without wasting time, let's go. All right, so like I said, I will be sharing some rules with you in regards to ED pronunciations. So looking at your first rule, which says, if the verb base ends in a voiceless sound, then the ED ending sounds like t at the end. And when I say it's a voiceless sound, all right, guys, so a voiceless sound is just like a whisper. Your vocal cords, they do not vibrate, all right? So sounds like all right, so these sounds over here, like with the sound of p, 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 f, 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 k, 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 s, ch, 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 ch. Okay, so these are your voiceless consonant sounds. Like I said, they're like whisper. If you put your hand over here, all right, you wouldn't notice any vibrations here. Okay, so if this is what you have to do. So if you don't understand, this is what you do. So when you're making these sounds like p, 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 f, 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 k, k, no vibrations, you won't hear anything. All right, you can try that. So try putting your hand here and then try looking at that. Okay, so whenever you have at the end, when you have these sounds, these consonants, then when you're adding your ed at the end, it's going to be the sound of, like it says, t, all right, and the t is blended together with the previous consonant, and the next is it not pronounced as an extra syllable. So there's no such thing as worked. Okay, so when you're saying worked, it's like two syllables and you don't have to do that. So it's worked. Okay, worked. And very subtle sound of t, dropped, finished, divorced, stopped, laughed, coughed, or watched. Okay, so when you're using all these words, no more work it, drop it, finish it, all right? So whenever the sound is ending with the p, p, f, k, s, sh, okay, so then you will, at the end, you will hear the sound of t, and it is one syllable. You are not going to break it into two syllables. So worked, dropped, finished, divorced, stopped, laughed, coughed, watched. Okay, so that's how you will remember the next time you have a word with ed. Looking at your next rule. Okay, so then the second one is, all right, if the verb base ends in a voiced sound, and then the ed ending sounds like a d. Okay, so when I say voiced sound, that means your vocal cords, they vibrate. B, 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 v, 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 g, 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 z, j, j, th, 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 r. Okay, so that's what we mean when we say these are voiced sounds. Again, like I said to you before, keep your hand here and then try making these sounds. These are all voiced consonant sounds. So whenever you have your voiced consonant sound, then at the end, again, you're not going to be breaking it into two syllables, all right? But the sound of d at the end, it is again going to be blended with the previous consonant, okay? So you have your move, moved, returned, stayed, studied, married, widowed, raised, engaged, and traveled. So again, you are not going to break them into two syllables, people, all right? So whenever you have your voiced consonant sounds at the end, you will hear a very subtle t, 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 which is again going to blend with the previous consonant sound. And when you have your voiced consonant sounds like b, 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 v, g, z, j, okay, so all these voiced consonants, then what you do is you blend it with the previous one, and the sound is going to be with dub, with one syllable. Moved, returned, stayed, studied, married, widowed, raised, engaged, and traveled. All right. So every time you have your ED words there, you cannot break them into two syllables. Not possible. All right. So now coming to your favorite part, which is when the verb, the base verb, it ends with a T or a D sound already, then the ED ending sounds like id or ud. All right. So this is the only time, people, whenever the word, the base verb, it ends with a T or a D. So like you have your start or you have your visit. All right. So whenever you have the words that end with a T, all right, or like this one, attend with a D, that's the only time you're going to break them into two syllables. So this one here, started, graduated, visited, separated, dated, and attended. Okay. So when the word is ending with a T or a D, then of course you can go ahead and break them into two syllables, and then the sound at the end is going to be with id or ud. Like we said over here, we looked started, graduated, visited, separated, dated, or attended. Okay, so remember, voiceless, whenever you have your voiceless consonants at the end, it's going to be a very subtle sound of t at the end with one syllable. All right, again, you're going to merge it with the previous consonant sound. Whenever you have your voiced consonants at the end of a verb, then the sound that you're going to make is very subtle d sound. Okay, again, one syllable. Only when the verb is going to end with a T, the base verb, or a D, like start, graduate, visit, separate, date, attend. All right, these are just the examples. So whenever you have at the end your T or your D, that's the only time you are going to break it into two syllables. All right, that brings us to the end of this lesson. And I'm sure after today, you're never going to use it to or drop it, all those sort of things. Okay, so if you like it, don't forget to subscribe, spread the word, share it with your friends. Until we meet next time, bye for now.